Bots and Books fans, this is Scorp1701, and tonight we are going to be taking a look at another awesome superpower figure from Wave 9 of the McFarlane DC Superpowers line. And this is going to be a cool figure, for this is Superman, but not just any Superman. This is being labeled as Classic Superman. Classic being more along the lines of the original Superpowers Superman. And I think the color scheme is definitely going to lend it to that, but there might be some other things that make it a little different than Classic Superman. So we'll see for sure in just a minute, but first off, let's take a look at this awesome packaging. Now, these Superpowers figures always come on these blister cards, and they are classic and very reminiscent of how they came out in the 80s. On the front of the card, you have DC, you have Superpowers in the standard Superpowers logo with the stars around it. That is cool. Superman logo here, 12 plus up here. You have the figure right here in its plastic prison. You have Superman looking all heroic. Rawr! You have McFarlane toys. On the back of the card, you have 12 plus, and you have a roster of 45 different figures that have already been released, and that is so cool. Look at them all. You have some figures that look like the original Superpowers figures. You have some characters in variant costumes, and you have some new and unique figures for the line. And if you collected the Superpowers figures in the 80s, these are definitely going to bring back some feels. Moving over to the right, you have DC Direct, McFarlane Toys, the Superpowers logo again, and collect them all. And then we have a brief read-up of a Superman. I will zoom in really close so you can pause the video, read this to your heart's content. But we must be moving outward and onward. Coming down to the bottom of the packaging, you do have some vehicles in this line. The Brainiac's Skull Ship and the Blue Beetle's Bug Ship. I said slip last time, but it is ship. You have some credits for the box here, and coming over to the right, you have a nice barcode, and if you want to take a look at that, here it is, nice and close, and you can see it says DC Superpowers Wave 9 Superman Classic, and this barcode may help you find this figure on the shelf. He is out there somewhere, and that is going to be it for the packaging, and I don't want to see Superman in the package. I know you don't, so let's get him out and see if he really is the last son of Krypton. And here we have Superman off the card, and off the card he stands approximately 5 inches tall. He comes with no accessories, but then again, he's Superman. He doesn't need any accessories. So, without further ado, let's take a closer look at this old-time classic. And coming real close in on Classic Superman's head sculpt. Now, this is a completely different head sculpt than we got with the original McFarlane Superman, and it's a little different than the Classic Superman head sculpt. You still have your nice black head of hair with a little spit curl right there on the middle, but he has a lot darker skin tone, and has some bright blue eyes sticking out of there, so that is pretty neat, coming down to a nice nose, and the mouth now molded to where it's open and you can see his teeth, so that is pretty neat there. Coming down to his flesh tone neck, you got a little bit of molded detail in there, so let's back out so we can see his torso, and I love the torso. The colors are nice and bright blue. You have a beautiful Superman symbol here that goes across the chest, a lot wider than the original McFarlane Superman, and then you have your yellow belt and your red trunks, blue legs, and red boots with some holes in the bottom for posting, and you do have the copyright material right here on the inside of the leg like you did with Bizarro and all the others. Coming around to the back of the cape, you have the beautiful yellow S right here, and it's made with that textured material. I love that. And the cape is just made of a nice stretchy cloth, a lot better than that ribbony cloth of the original McFarlane, and it's not as long as the original. It is attached with a C-clip here at the neck, so we could take that out. Looks really nice. And coming to the back of Superman, you just have the standard costume, nothing that you wouldn't expect over here. Blue for the back, yellow, red, blue, and red boots. So yeah, I really like this new updated Superman body. It's big and bulky. The skin tone is a little dark for my taste, but you know, it might grow on me, and I don't really have a too big a problem with it. And setting Superman down like this, let's bring in the original Kenner's Superman to see how well this classic Superman homages it. So we can see that there is a bit of difference between this and the classic Superman. First off, the head sculpt is a little different. You still got your spit curl there, but the skin tone obviously is darker on the classic version. So the blue eyes are still there. The mouth here is open as opposed to the original, which is not. The costume is a little darker blue on the original over there as opposed to this lighter blue. And I don't know, I can't really say which of the blues I like better. I think I like the lighter blue here, but it's all personal preference. The S symbol is a little sharper on the classic here. The sides are like more of a point, whereas the original had kind of a softer take on the sides of the S. That shield, that's okay. And pretty much the belt in the shorts are kind of the same, and the legs and the boots are pretty much the same with just a different color. The cape is going to be longer on the classic version here as opposed to the original, and I don't have a picture of the back, but they both have the yellow S on the back. So that is going to be an interesting little comparison with this and the original. All right, moving on. And for articulation, the Superpowers Classic Superman has your standard 7 points of articulation when it comes to superpower figures. You have one head that turns around 360 degrees. You have two arms that go around 360 degrees. You have two legs that go up a little bit forward, but back much further ways. And then you have two knees that bend into a 90 degrees. So that is really cool. Nothing that we have not seen with all the other Superpowers figures. He does not have the original action feature where you would squeeze his legs and his fists would go pumping, but that's okay. We don't expect that, and that would make the figure cost a little more than it does right now. So anyway, that is Superman's articulation. Moving on. And for comparison, here the classic Superman is with the original McFarlane Superman and his wave mate, Bizarro. So comparing him with the original McFarlane Superman, the head sculpts are obviously different, and the skin tone is lighter on the original Superman as opposed to Mr. Tan guy here. I like the lighter blue colors on the classic Superman as opposed to the darker blue. I like the fact that the chest symbol is larger. The belt and the trunks don't really bother me because they're pretty much the same style. And the legs and the boots on this new body are a little thicker, which, give or take, I don't really mind. Comparing the classic Superman to Bizarro, it's the same body. The S is just different, and the head is obviously different, and the fists are a different color. So if you watched my Bizarro video where I said that they should have had Bizarro in the original line, all they had to do was do a repaint of Superman, that's pretty much what McFarlane did here, and I like that idea. All right, so turn them around so we can see the back of them. The capes on the Superman are all different. The original Superman here is made of that ribbony material with the Tempograph S, and then you have the classic Superman cape, which is a little longer, and you have that nice material that made the S, and then Bizarro's cape, which is the shortest of the three, and it still has that cool little material with the backward Bizarro S, and that's all right. All right, and that is pretty much what these three are gonna look like. All right, let's see what the classic Superman looks like with some other superpower members. And here you have classic Superman with the Justice League in various forms, because at this point I have the Tim Drake Robin, which I love, Detective Batman, classic Wonder Woman, Green Lantern Hal Jordan, The Flash, and Aquaman with his nice beard. So it doesn't exactly match up to the original superpowers, but it's close enough for me, and I like this lineup. So yeah, it looks great. All right, moving on. And this has been the McFarlane Toys DC Superpowers Classic Superman, number 41 in the awesome new line from Todd McFarlane. And I enjoyed taking a look at this awesome Superman figure. And he is classic in the fact that his costume is classic. It's very bright blue and the beautiful S shield. Now, a lot of people will argue that it's not really classic because the head is a brand new head sculpt and the darker skin tone. But, you know, it's not gonna please everybody, and I doubt that McFarlane can make a one-for-one replica of the original, so this is a pretty close second. If I had my preference, I would have kept the head sculpt from the original McFarlane Superman and the skin tone. I'm not really sure the darker skin tone works for this figure, but then again, it's all preference. If you like it, then it works. And that's all I got to say about Classic Superman. If you're looking for this guy, he is on the shelves right now at your local retailers, and you can find him for approximately $12 to $15, depending on where you pick him up. So if you're looking, happy hunting. All right, guys, that is it. That is the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Come back Friday. We'll take a look at another Superpowers figure from Wave 9. And until then, guys, have a great night and keep playing. And thank you once again for watching the video. If you would, like and subscribe to Bots and Books. And if you feel like supporting the channel even further, please consider joining one of our awesome channel clubs. We have the 99-cent tip club, the $4.99 coffee club, and the $9.99 lunch club. By joining these awesome clubs, you get some special perks to the channel, and we are working on getting some cool merchandise out to you. So if it's in your power and something that you'd like to do to support Bots and Books, we'd love to have you. And stay tuned because we have some more great new toy reviews coming up soon. See you later.